Hello everyone and welcome back to That Gym Couple podcast.
Hosted by Cal and Lucy.
In today's episode, we are going to be taking you through our secrets to staying motivated.
As well as our highs and lows from the week and some juicy stories from some of our listeners.
Enjoy!
So, welcome back.
Welcome back to episode 3 of season 2.
Is it 3 or is it 4?
No, it's 3, I think.
I don't even remember.
No, it's 3, I think.
We're only a few episodes in and we still can't.
Shall we dive straight in with your highs and lows from this week?
Yeah. Oh, God. I guess I'm a bit on the spot. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, do you know, it's been a weird week.
Well, it's only Wednesday, so I always forget what's happened. Like the week goes so quickly.
Yeah, it has gone quite quick. But then also this week seems very slow from Monday to today.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to start with a low to bring the mood down.
Okay.
I don't really have any. No, I think training's been a bit funny this week because, as we spoke about last week, we started running. So trying to find the balance with training and running has been difficult. And we've got some very handy advice from your brother-in-law, who is, he's an endurance athlete, like does triathlons, Ironmans, ultramarathons, you name it. He loves it. So in terms of the running side of things, he's really helped us actually get a bit of a structure in place, more particularly for our running. But I guess it's helped in terms of like understanding, and he knows us. He knows that we like to train in the gym. So he's factored that into the sort of program. And then obviously we've just slotted in our training sessions that we think would suit those days.
Yeah, it's just obviously hard because he's not, as you said, he's an endurance athlete. He doesn't lift weights. So ideally what we really need is someone who does both. Does both,
yeah. But that's very difficult to try and find, because usually people come from one background or another. So finding that balance. A lot of
people are doing hybrid now.
Absolutely. Of course they are. And is that what we're doing?
Well,
have you?
Do you know what? I think it is. I mean,
don't
come at me if I'm wrong. No, but like the definition,
it's two disciplines
at the same time that you're not training, so you're not doing one to better the other. So like say if you were doing rugby and you were doing some
arguably, and I saw this somewhere else. Arguably,
you go, honestly, it's fine, I wasn't speaking.
Arguably, so I just wanted to interject very quickly. Arguably, rugby is the one of the earliest forms of hybrid training because you have to do everything. Okay,
cool. But what I meant by that was just that what I've actually learned, because I'm learning a lot. I'm loving learning all this stuff now. And as we did say, I think probably next week we will do a whole episode on why we're running, our plan with the runs, and kind of go into a bit more detail with it. But just quickly on that kind of hybrid note, what I'm sort of learning is that, so say if you're doing rugby, for example, and you're doing strength and conditioning sessions in order to get better at rugby, that doesn't mean hybrid training. No. Hybrid training is like you're running a race, but you're also doing something else that's completely separate.
I mean, and I guess this is where it's a low in terms of my training. It's been a bit off this week because I've not been able to focus on one thing like I'm used to. But on the flip side of that, I think it's also high because I'm really loving this new way of looking at training. The hardest thing that I've found so far is telling myself, you're going to have to cut a day out the gym.
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing 5 days in the gym and have this split down to perfection. I know what I can train. I know how I'll feel the next day.
You know your limits.
Exactly.
In the training, yeah.
But now I want to get to the point where, I can still comfortably lift 500 kilograms across squat, bench and deadlift and run a half marathon.
Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because I think before as we've said before, I think on Instagram, that we were just so set that we were not runners, and that's fine. But also as fitness coaches, what I'm learning is I actually do want to be a bit more of an all-rounder.
Yeah.
I'm not, maybe, lifting and running doesn't make you an all-rounder. I know that. But like, I want to also be physically fit and not just be able to lift in the gym. I don't want to have to walk up a flight of stairs and be out of breath. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do exactly that.
And even from our clients' perspectives, how often do you get people who are like, "Hey, Lucy, like I've just started running. I've got 10K booked. I want to try and supplement my running with the coaching that you're offering me." And yes, of course, you can help and you can give them a base understanding of what you know and understand from whether it's literature or whatever, however you've learned things, but there's no first-hand experience in the same way. If they're just starting out and you're like, okay, cool, right, now you kind of have a better understanding of how to structure their week.
Yeah.
And by the end of this, when we've done our half marathon and you're able to kind of go, okay, right, this really worked for me. Yeah. This didn't work for me. Trial this, trial that, and see what works for you, and you can go from there.
And that's happening more often, isn't it? Now, more and more people are getting into running. I am getting more and more clients that want to do that. And actually, I think before I would have been like, yeah, cool, do your runs, do your training, fine. But now I'm realising it's not quite as easy as that.
Especially
You've got to be careful.
Especially while the weather's a bit nicer.
Yeah.
And it's a bit warmer and less wet. I mean, not that much less wet, but...
Whilst this week, it's fine.
So people do, they're like, I want to get out and run or do something outside as opposed to just spend all my summer in the nice days in a gym where, yes, they're mostly air conditioned, but they're still hot and it's still boring and it's still, but yeah. What's your low this week? Let's start with low.
Good question. I feel like we're struggling with the lows each week, which is
a good thing.
Yeah, it's such a good thing.
Or maybe we should be more critical.
No, I think I'd probably say, I don't know if I'd say it was a low. I was going to say the same as you, but I don't know if I'd see that as a low because I'm seeing it all as like a learning curve.
You can't do the same as me anyway.
I don't know. I don't really have a low. I have a low in terms of I have like a general sort of low going on in the background with some news that we had recently, which again we'll go into detail in another episode. So I guess that's my low, but also I'm not seeing that as a low either. I'm just trying to be really positive at the moment. Like there are some really scary things and sad things going on in the background personally, but I'm just trying to be positive.
Good.
So I don't know. I don't really have a low specifically, other than probably my DOMs in my legs are horrific.
I was going to say, if I was going to pick a low for you, it would probably be your
horrific.
Your leg DOMs.
Like, I don't know how I'm going to continue.
Tight hamstrings.
My hips are a little bit better. My DOMs are really bad because I trained legs. Well, I did a new full body session.
Yeah.
So but for some reason, my legs are just in agony. It's like I've never gone to the gym before in my life. I foam rolled today and I was in excruciating pain. Like, can someone please explain to me how do I train legs and also run? I don't know how it's going to work.
Well, we'll find out. And things do, as I was talking to someone who earlier today who is a hybrid athlete, like they are off to do an Ironman in Switzerland in a couple of weeks, and props to him, like that's crazy. I think the cycling elevation is nuts. The run's all flat, but they've got to cycle uphill a lot. So, but that it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for someone who enjoys that kind of thing.
Someone who is mad.
But he was like the same sort of like, he was like just trying to find that balance is awful, and until you get it, you know. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily ever get easier, but it gets more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think the tough thing, I don't know, because it's tough in a way, but it's also, I'm so excited by what we're doing that I'm not even seeing it as a tough thing. But I guess the only thing is shifting our goals slightly, because I still would like to lose a little bit of body fat before summer. Like, we've literally just booked a holiday for next weekend, and I don't feel 100% confident right now, but also I'm learning that to run, you need to be fueled.
Yeah.
Being in a intense calorie deficit and trying to become a runner, it doesn't really go together. So I need to just be okay with the fact that I'm changing my goal slightly and potentially just leave the fat loss phase for the time being.
Yeah. And your body will change from running and the training you're doing anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm holding quite a lot of water right now, and I don't know if that's because I am really achy and my body is like getting used to this new running malarkey. But yeah, I think those are kind of my highs and lows all tied into one. The high is that I am loving being a student again and like learning this new skill, because I do think running is a skill. I underestimated it a lot. I just thought you put your running trainers on, you go out for a run, but there is a lot of skill involved in running. But also amongst all that, the achiness, the tiredness, I'm hungry all the time. It's a high and low kind of mixed into one, I'd say.
So no specific high?
Just that I'm enjoying running.
Good.
Actually, I would tell a lie. The high is that we ran a 5K on Saturday.
Yeah.
You struggled a little bit, didn't you? I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know why I struggle. I don't think I could get into my rhythm really with it.
That's the thing with running though, isn't it? Like you the one before we did, you found it quite easy, and I really struggled.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I already knew that I'd struggled before, so I think I just had more of an open mind. It was a nice day. It was Saturday morning. I got into my rhythm.
Yeah,
loved it.
You found your rhythm quite quickly. But I was constantly, I think, because on the first run we did, we ran sort of side by side quite a bit. So maybe because I was
slower,
I was going a little bit faster. It wasn't.
You were way ahead of me on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think you were going too fast.
Possibly.
Now we've sort of got a pace.
Yeah, we've got
goal.
We've got our zones, so
we'll be a bit more
we
careful.
know what to kind of go for.
Yeah. But anyway.
Fantastic. So I have a funny gym story.
Oh, we're going straight in with that. Okay.
We are going straight in with that.
Yeah, go for it.
It's I just got to quickly find it because I am unprepared.
This happens every week.
There we go. I was actually on it and I scrolled away.
See, if we had a producer, this would be where like all of this would just be seamless.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So, sent in by Anonymous.
Hello, Anonymous.
I first started lifting weights when I was about 16. This was an old boxing gym a few streets away from where I lived, so I didn't really know anyone there. I guess by a few streets they mean quite a few. After finishing my set on the bench press, I decided to take my weights off to not be an arsehole to the next person. Very respectful.
Yeah,
good.
I like that.
The one thing I didn't realise was that taking off all the weights on one side would cause the bar to flip and come crashing to the ground with a sound equivalent of someone driving a car through a wall. I'm standing there completely red-faced as half the gym comes running into the weights area to see what's going on. From that day on, I made sure my weights were evenly distributed.
Oh, bless.
So everyone has that as like a rite of passage, I think.
Yeah,
if
you've not done that, you're not doing it properly.
Like the amount of times you just, it's. I mean, most racks or bench press sort of setups are sort of designed that they're wide enough to hold it to a certain degree, but depending on how much you have on one side, and all it takes is just a nudge and that thing goes flying over.
Oh, I've seen it happen so many times, and then people just sort of look around like, oh shit, who saw that?
Yeah.
Or they don't put clips on the end of,
I heard it
of the little, what's it called, easy bar,
yeah,
and it like
slips off all the time.
And you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Do you know, that reminded me when that person said about taking their weights off, that reminded me of someone in our gym the other day who was doing sled push. You right?
Yeah, there's just a spider behind you.
Oh my God. Apparently that means we don't have any damp in the house though.
That's good.
Can you get it? It's really off-putting. Actually, no, just leave it because it's if it comes near me.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, how frustrated were we? I actually went over and I said something. I don't know, comment below what you think about me actually saying something to this girl, but she left, what was it, like 4 plates?
4 20 kg plates, which
on the sled
it's not
push.
easy to take off the sled push, and if someone else goes on it, they've then got to try and if they need to take it off.
We have like a wide variety of members at our gym.
Yeah.
There could be an old lady like using it, older lady, or like someone young, I don't know, and it's just like, it's really awkward to get off. And I did see her once she left, and I was just like, are you done down there, by the way? And she was like, yeah, I'm done. And I was like, okay, so we'll take your weights off for you then. I know I probably shouldn't have said anything, but It really annoyed me.
And she didn't even come down to take them off. No. So we had to go take them off anyway.
No, she was talking to one of the PTs and he just went, "Did you leave the weights on?" And I was like, "Yeah, she did." So we took it off, didn't we? Like the good citizens we are.
Yeah.
That was good.
Someone has to.
Shall we dive into today's topic?
Let's get into the topic, the meat and the meat and...
Let the meat...
Not the veg.
No, not meat and veg.
No, like the meat and not the veg. Like the main part of the meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a meat alternative if you are that way inclined.
Let's get into the tofu.
Let's get into the seitan.
Okay, so the secret...
Can you stop kicking
Sorry, I don't mean to. The secret to staying motivated with your goals, whatever those goals may be, running goals, lifting goals, weight loss goals, whatever it is, how do you stay motivated? That is the question on everyone's lips. That's the question everyone wants to know. It's the most frequently asked questions that I get on social media. How do you stay motivated all the time? Newsflash, we don't. We are not motivated 365 days of the year. Like, no one is. We are fitness coaches. We live and breathe fitness. We absolutely love it. And we have days where we're not motivated. So that's one key thing to be aware of. Would you like to go first with...
Yeah, I guess I wanted to just say, there's a few reasons why people aren't motivated. And I think it's important to know that before you kind of dive into like how to stay motivated, because you can kind of try and understand a little bit more where you might be not necessarily going wrong, but where things are getting hard, and then leads to lack of motivation. So one of the key ones for me, and this happens to me all the time, is where, you know, if you're not making progress, I think is a massive motivation killer. If you're turning up to the gym week in, week out, or you're tracking your calories or running or whatever it is, and you don't feel like you're making any progress towards whatever your goal is, it's seriously like dampening of your spirits, and you just feel awful about it. So that's definitely one of them. And the other one would be probably something along the lines of like not enjoying what you're doing.
Yes.
So if you're not able to enjoy the type of training you're doing, or certain exercises, I understand that there's always going to be exercises in people's programs. How often do clients tell us, like, you know, we ask them in the questionnaire thing, it's like, you know, are there any exercises you don't want to see in your program? And the two answers that always come back are Bulgarian split squats and burpees. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm probably not going to program you burpees anyway.
No.
But Bulgarian split squats, people don't like them because they're hard. And I understand that. And the progress is, they're very painful, but they have a certain place. Burpees have a place within a program if it fits within what you're training for. So,
but you know, if you have a specific muscle group that you really want to grow, there's only so many exercises that can target that. And there are obviously other things you can do other than a Bulgarian split squat. But you're right, it's because it's hard and it's painful and people just don't want to do it.
No, exactly.
But I completely agree. If you, as Callum said, certain exercises, sometimes you just got to crack on and get it done. If it's that you have tried weight training or you've tried running or whatever it is for weeks, months, you know, you've given it the time and you still dread it every single time, not because it's hard, but because you just simply don't enjoy it, probably worth thinking about trying something else, because it shouldn't be something that you dread. It should be something that you hopefully can eventually look forward to and actually enjoy it. Maybe it's painful, maybe it's hard, but you get some enjoyment out of it. That's going to make you want to go back and to keep going. And
it's the same with a lot of walks of life. Like, you know, if you don't enjoy your job and you're not, say you're not financially dependent on that particular role, you know, fair enough if you get paid a good wage, but you don't enjoy it and you're like, I can't find anything else that is going to give me a similar lifestyle. Understand that might be a reason to stay, but that's your motivation to stay.
Yes.
You know, whereas if you're not financially tied to it and you don't enjoy it, you're probably just going to leave and find something else that you do enjoy, or at least something that you find motivation to keep going for.
Yeah.
Whether it's the people, the money, whatever it is. it's no different with training or sports, for instance. I know that if I got Lucy involved in a team sport where, I don't know, let's say we signed her up to a women's rugby team, you'd probably enjoy aspects of it, but you would probably hate some of it as well.
Yeah.
Being out in the cold and the wet and the rain, running around in the field, getting muddy, and then, it's just not your cup of tea.
It's not for me, that.
But if I was to be like, okay, she's not enjoying that, let's go sign her up to a tennis club where, it's a summer sport. She can play in the summer.
Wear a cute little outfit.
Cute look the part. She'd love it, like in a completely different way.
Yeah. Which is weird because when I was younger, I did all the team sports. Football, netball, hockey. Loved it.
That was all of them.
Now I can't remember what else. I'm sure there were more. But like, I actually did extracurricular. It wasn't even just what I was made to do in PE. I was on the football team.
Yeah.
But then I stopped doing that because every morning my dad would come in on a Sunday like, are you ready? Like, it's game day. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to get wet and cold. So then I just stopped. Can you stop looking at that spider? Seriously, you're stressing me out.
It's just going up and down.
No, you're stressing me out because you know how much I hate spiders.
Do you want me to get rid of it?
It's only a money spider. It's fine.
I'll get rid of it.
Put it on my shoulder. Wrap it around me. Is that what you're supposed to do with money spider? Could do with some funds. Where is it? I've got it. It's because there's a web. Don't get it near me. Oh my God, it's dropping. It's dropping. Whoa, no, it's gone. Oh my gosh, where's it gone? The web just went. God, webs are so cool, aren't they? Oh, wow, you got it. Put it outside, Callum. Why are men so good with spiders?
Technical difficulties thing up.
No.
Yeah, I know I'm going to do it. It's funny.
What were you saying? Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I guess then moving on to ways that you might be able to stay motivated. Obviously, having said that there are going to be days that you're not going to be motivated. I wrote a couple of things down. One of which is this sounds a bit phony maybe, but I do think it's important that you actually believe in yourself and that you believe that you can actually do hard things, because the reason we've just gone over some of the reasons people don't stay motivated, but ultimately it's because what you're doing is hard. Most things that you set yourself to do, you're going to be new to it, and it's hard. Like, we're new to running. It's really hard to be a beginner again, and you need to remind yourself that you can do hard things. It won't be easy, but you need to get to a point where you're like, I know I can push past this.
Especially if you're thinking, like, if you're talking about the initial stages of motivation, so motivating yourself to get something in the works in the first place. For those who've started and they're struggling to stay motivated, then you believed in yourself when you first started, because you thought, this is something I need to do or want to do, so I'm motivated enough to ask for help from a coach or a PT, or I'm going out on my own, so I was able to actually take that first step in that direction. And that's you believing in yourself, that you've got what it takes to try and at least make it work, or at least start making it work. So
100%, yeah. And I think another thing that really helps me is actually setting a goal and giving yourself a date, or basically putting a bit of skin in the game.
I wrote down SMART goals in my notes.
SMART goals, yeah.
So SMART goals, for people who don't know, so SMART is a acronym.
Yeah, acronym.
Yeah. So SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based, or time measured, whatever. So your goal, in order to have a SMART goal, it needs to be specific. So you need to have a specific goal in mind. It needs to be measurable. So whether that's progress over a certain time, that could be, if we're talking about training, it could be weights, it could be, weights as in like your personal body weight, it could be weights that you lift, it could be
running distance,
absolutely. Achievable. So it's got to be something that you believe you can achieve. So for us, the half marathon, we've looked at, that's our goal. It's achievable because we've got enough time to be able to do it. So there's your time-based thing at the end as well. And it's got to be relevant to what you want to achieve.
And I guess with relevant, that's kind of another point that I had, is it needs to mean something to you.
Yeah.
It needs to be personal.
Exactly. That's your intrinsic motivation.
You can't just do it. Someone I knew once or a friend said that they'd want me to do this, or that, like, no, like, you will not get up and do it. You need to, because even as a coach, I can give someone a speech about being motivated and try to get them to go and do whatever it is they need to do, but ultimately you are the only person that can get up and do it. So you need to be able to look in that moment that you're struggling and be like, no, this is really important to me. It's really important to me that I lose that weight. It's really important to me that I complete that run. And that kind of then leads on to having a goal at the end of it. You don't always have to, but I am definitely the type of person that needs to have something keeping me accountable to it. So a few years ago, I did a fat loss phase, but it got really, really tough. And it was like, okay, let's put something in place to keep me more accountable. So I did a photo shoot. Once that was booked, I was like, right, heads in the game. Same with the half marathon.
Yeah. So, you know, you look at, for instance, there's a young girl, she's just got engaged and she's planning her wedding. She's got a date set for her wedding. She's thinking, I want to look amazing in my wedding dress. So she's got her goal is to lose, say, 2 stone and she's got, I mean, give me a time frame here. Like,
what's 2 stone in kilograms? My brain only works in
kilograms.
Let's
say 10 kilograms. Let's say she wants to lose 10 kg.
Whew, okay. Let's say she's got 6 months.
8 months. Let's go 8 months.
All right.
So she's got 8 months to the wedding. She wants to lose 10 kilograms. How do you measure that? So if you're looking at SMART goals, so the specific goal is she wants to lose 10 kilograms for her wedding. How do you measure that? Well, you measure that in kilograms, weekly check-ins. You could do daily check-ins if you wanted to. I wouldn't advise it, but it would, because it fluctuates too much day to day, but at least you get a ballpark. So you can check in weekly, bi-weekly, however you want to do it. But the idea is you measure it by stepping on the scales and seeing the weight. Is it achievable? Yes, that's achievable, I'd say.
Definitely.
with the right tools in place and the right structured program, absolutely. It's relevant to what she wants to do, and it's relevant to how she wants to be, in 8 months' time when she's getting married.
Goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the time frame is, again, like, she's
There
got
is
enough
a date
time. She's got a date set. As long as she knows, okay, I'm doing this, and this on these days, whether it's a check-in once a week or however much it is, that's your SMART goal.
Yeah, and that, you saying, she knows she's got to do this, that, and that. That's another thing. Having a really clear path of how you're going to get to that goal, that can also keep you motivated. So, whether you've got a coach or you've just planned it out yourself, if it's all a bit of a mess and it's chaotic, the more stressful and the less organized things that we have to do, we avoid doing. If you want to make it, well, I personally think if you make it as easy as yourself for yourself as possible, so your meal prep, if nutrition is the one thing you really struggle to like stay on top of, make it easier for yourself. Just have a plan in place, and as you said, with a time frame within that,
and a reasonable one. Some people work better under a smaller time frame, under a bit more pressure. I think I do. I think you do as well. But at the same time, the progress you're going to make. I could be like, okay, cool. We're going away end of next week. I've got a week and a half to get in shape, as best I can. Realistically, I know that the results I'm going to get aren't going to be amazing because I've got a week and a half. I've got a week and a half.
Yeah.
But if I'd have known that, we're going away at the end of August, I've got such a bigger time frame that I know that I got, okay, this is what I'm doing this week, this is what I'm doing this week, this is what I'm doing this week. I've planned it all out. So in my head, I know it's a lot easier. It's bite size. It's sort of purpose or on a smaller scale, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's really important actually, to try and decipher sort of what sort of person you are. Do you work better under pressure or do you not? Because with some people, end of August, they might lose interest in a month.
But I'm like that as well. And I'm very much like, yeah, I've got loads of time. And then before you know it, you've got 4 weeks and you're going, oh crap, or less. But you've also got to be understanding of the time frame it takes to make progress and what is reasonable in terms of the progress you can make. So yes, I could give myself next to no calories a week or a day.
That's it. You're not going to be doing it in a healthy way, are you?
I'm not doing it in a healthy way. And is that sustainable, or am I more likely to then binge
on
when
holiday
when it comes out?
Yeah,
when it comes,
so
not even just
true.
on holiday, but before that, and just absolutely kind of ruin my chances of getting to where I wanted to be. The other, on the flip side of that as well, sorry, just before
no, it's okay.
you have a go at me for not.
No, I'm not. I just have a question I want to ask you, and I don't want to forget it.
Yeah, ask me now, and I'll come back to this.
Well, and I think this my question would probably be a good way to round it out.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to it then. I guess my last point on this was, it's so important to have not only a plan in place, but balance. And balance in terms of, look, it's coming up to the summer. Like, if someone's got a goal in mind, if they're listening to this, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this has actually motivated me to do this and this and this, and you've got a holiday booked, let's say late August like us, or September even, and you've got a plan to go somewhere, you want to get into really good shape for your holiday or whatever it is, you also need to understand that throughout the summer there's obviously going to be a lot of social events. People are doing a lot of things. People have parties, people have barbecues, people have drinks, things, there's festivals, there's all sorts of things going on. So you've got to understand that there's got to be a balance between having that social life and reaching your goals.
Yeah. And
we both preach this to our clients. We are all about making sure that your life is balanced in a way that is sustainable and that you are making progress towards your goals. Because without that, I know people who are, if they've got a goal in mind, they're like, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm focusing on. We spoke about last week. Yeah, of course you can take meal prepped food to someone's house or to wherever you're going to eat because you want to stay on on track and everything like that, but you're still balancing that, you're still making progress towards your goals and having a balanced social life and being able to enjoy things. So if you were to cut everything out, you would not stay motivated. You would
be miserable.
You're much more likely not stay motivated. Obviously, some people can do it, and some people find it very easy to do that. But I think on the grand scheme, most people want to have that balance that they can actually keep things going and still have some form of a life that they lived before without having to sacrifice so much.
Yeah, and I think that sort of comes back to our point of do something that you enjoy, and that's not just the discipline itself. It's like the whole process. Try to enjoy the whole process. And often you will find as well, and most of my clients find, is that after a few weeks of doing the thing that you're doing, you start to get a little bit better at it. Then you start to enjoy it a bit more. Your confidence starts to build with whatever it is. You start to see the changes in your body, in your mindset as well. Because, we don't just say this stuff for fun. Moving your body, eating better is so good for you mentally. It's so good for you physically. Like, it's why we do it. It's why we keep going back. It's not because it makes us miserable. It's because it makes us feel great. So the more you get into it, the more benefits you will feel from it, the more motivated you will be to continue with it. If it made you feel like shit, obviously you're not going to carry on with it, but it doesn't. That's why people do it. It makes you feel great. So that should be a great motivator in itself, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so just to finish on this question, literally just popped into my head. What do people do then once that date has come around? So they've then done the photo shoot. They've gone on the holiday that they were working towards to look and feel great for. They've done the half marathon. What next? How do you stay motivated after that?
I think that depends on what your mindset is and how you felt going forward throughout the process. Obviously, if you are just motivated to, let's say you've got a photo shoot and you've gone through the whole process, you're looking absolutely diced, like you look incredible, you've done your photo shoot, but that whole process you absolutely hated. And the only motivation there was the fact that you had this photo shoot and you didn't want to let yourself down, you didn't want to let down people who organised, blah, blah, blah. then perhaps, I mean, my advice in that case would be find something else.
Find a new goal.
Find a new goal. It's always going to be find a new goal. That's the only way you're going to stay motivated, because, you know, you might be like, okay, cool. Well, actually, I've done a photo shoot now. I didn't enjoy the process, but I really enjoyed the photo shoot side of things. What's the next level of the next level after photo shoot? But if you want to stay in that sort of that bubble of bodybuilding, I guess, in that regards, and you've got there and you've had your shots and you're like, I look great. Maybe the next step is thinking about stepping on stage. You know, for us, for like other events, things like that, like, so for the half marathon that we're doing, for instance, if we run the half marathon and we've achieved it and we're like, oh, cool, that we've done that, like, tick that off the list. What's the next step?
I guess we don't know until we do it, do
well,
we?
Like,
we might want to then do something
another
bigger,
half marathon,
better.
a marathon, you know, an Ironman, whatever. Like,
it's the trouble with life, isn't it? And us humans,
absolutely,
we're always chasing the next best thing.
So my advice would be, while you are going through the process, constantly think about the next step anyway. Don't see the holiday or the photo shoot or the race or the whatever it is, the competition, as the end goal, because there's always another step. There's always something more you can do afterwards, or there's always something you can progress onto to continue that journey. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the same thing. You know, we might do the half marathon. I might absolutely hate it. Yeah. You might love it. So you might go, I'm going to do another one. I've booked another one for next year or whatever. Fantastic. And I want to get a better time than I got on this one. Or I might come out of it and go, that was awful. That was the worst experience. You know, I really hated it. But what I have enjoyed is the fact that I've got leaner, I've got fitter, and what could I do then to continue that side of things,
like evolve the goal, maybe. And also, just on from that, I guess it doesn't always necessarily have to be a bigger, better goal. It doesn't have to be a longer distance. It doesn't have to be the next thing. It could be you just want to take some time to sit at maintenance. Yeah, you just want to focus on mobility.
Even
that's still a goal.
On the back of a fat loss phase, most people then come out of it and they're like, oh, do you know what, I enjoy how lean I look now, but I feel like I just lost all my strength. So you'll know that as you're training through it. You're training the weights you're lifting, it will get harder, the training will get more difficult, the cardio gets upped, and you're eating less food. So when you get to the point where you're then finished and you're going back onto maintenance calories, we mean, so your basal metabolic rate, you can then go, well, maybe like my strength's coming back. Actually, what I was lifting, you know, I was hip thrusting, say 120 kg last time when I was like, before my fat loss phase. Throughout that, I managed to stick it around the same sort of weight, but then it started dipping off because it was getting harder and harder. I'm going to try and go for 140 this time. Yeah. And you'll probably find that that's an easier, more attainable goal, and you can push towards a strength gain or a muscle gain phase.
Yeah. And you might want to do that with multiple lifts, like pick a few lifts that you really want to improve in and start setting yourself some strength targets, and then you'll probably go down that rabbit hole a little bit and then be like, oh, I love this.
I generally think that's how all this hybrid training came into fruition, because there was a lot of people who were very strong in the gym or very good at running, and you know, when you've excelled in one sort of aspect or one discipline, you know, let's say you're really strong in the gym, you're able to deadlift, bench press, squat like a really decent number, and you've gone, okay, so I feel really strong, but
I'm not fit
and I don't look great. So then you're going, okay, what can I do then? So, maybe I'll get fit. And through that process, they started realizing they like running or cycling or swimming, whatever it is. But they're like, but now I'm losing my strength and I don't feel as strong when I do go in the gym. So now they're trying to merge the two, and that's where it's come about.
Or maybe, and also maybe this was like the sweet spot that we were missing for a while. Yeah. And I'm sure there were people doing it for ages, but it's massive on social media now. And maybe that is the sort of, what's the word? Creme de la creme.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're strong and we're fit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible yet. I think it is. I've seen people do it. I don't feel strong and fit just yet because I feel really fatigued, but maybe we will get there, and that will be a really nice sweet spot for us to be kind of sitting in.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think I was just like, I know that we've gone on for a while, but I just think before I was so happy just kind of sitting in my comfort zone, lifting weights, doing the Stairmaster, you know? But now I feel really like, no, actually it's nice. I'm doing something different. I'm pushing myself, and running is just so different.
And what I am a little bit worried about is now when we get to the point where the running is easier and we're running longer distances, and it's...
You said when then, that was good, not if.
No, positive. And then we go back into the gym to try, you know, and actually you're doing your, I don't know, like let's say 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and you're going, this is a bit boring.
I know.
This is a bit like this isn't enough at the moment. So that's when your training needs to adapt then, and you need to like, it's constantly changing. And I think that's how you stay motivated on all these things.
And I think we both needed a change. That we got a bit stagnant, and we needed to mix things up, and this is definitely shaking things up.
I can't wait to see where it goes.
I know, me too.
Oh, well, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode.
Nice spot to wrap up.
I really enjoyed chatting with you today.
Thank you. Do you not enjoy chatting to me most days?
No, I do. I just, do you know what? It's just sometimes we film and it's like we've both just done a really long day at work. We've got to rearrange our living room, set it all up.
God.
You know what I mean? It's just, no, I love you guys. Anyone that listens, love you so much. But I'm in my prime in like the mid-morning.
Yeah,
you know? I've just had my coffee. If we could go out to a recording studio, have our coffee, I'd look forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't look forward to it.
I think like how we structure this, it's good because we've got these ideas and we've got time to kind of write notes. It's not really on the fly like it has been in the past where we've been like, okay, what are we talking about? Okay, this, right, let's go. Like we've got a little bit of time to go, cool, this is the subject. Let's come together and try and figure out what the best way to get this message across is. You know, how can we best help people within this specific subject area? But I think we've nailed it today, and please,
on that,
please let us know what you think. I mean, we might be absolutely wrong and you might completely disagree, but I think we had some good points.
Yeah, and I think if there is anything specific you'd really like to know about or learn more about or just hear our opinion on, obviously let us know. Drop us a DM. I think that's what they do, isn't it?
Drop us a DM,
yeah.
On wherever you listen to this, you can find us on Instagram's probably the most
it's
popular.
Probably where we'll find it. But yeah, we hope you have an amazing week. We will be back next week, and then the week after that we will be in Portugal.
I think we do a Portugal episode.
We say this every time though, and it just doesn't
work. We're doing it.
No, babe, we're not, because I'm not bringing the mics. I've got tiny hand
We
luggage.
are doing it. We're doing it.
Don't hold us to that, because we might not. But we will be doing some amazing runs in Portugal. So
tune in.
Yeah, follow those on our socials.
Cool. Well,
see you in the next episode.
Ciao.
Peace.